This is Across the Streams Media Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Front Row Negative, the podcast. It's that spooky time of the year, and when that is happening, that brings out the horror movies. And we're back again with our Front Row Negative 2024 annual horror madness brackets system.
Woohoo.
System thing, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that works.
It happens. Well, you heard a voice. I've got guests because my co-host Chris is not joining me this year, which is kind of sad, but still, we got to continue. And so I've reached out to the dark scepters of the web, to my friends in the podcast realm, and even some actors. And you heard one voice right now. And the people I brought on today, if you recognize that voice, you might have heard them on another podcast, a horror podcast, a cult classic horror podcast. And if you don't recognize them from that, you might have heard them in their deathcore metal band, Poolside of the Flamingo. And if you haven't recognized them from that, then you might have seen them star in movies with Thomas Jane, Machine Gun Kelly. I forget his girlfriend's name. No, Megan Fox. Megan Fox.
There's a list.
There's a list. Oh, the Punisher. The Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you haven't recognized them from that, they make their own movies as well. She Walks the Woods, Singer, and some other ones too that are out, that are available. So welcome to the show. And finally, the tables have turned. The Blood Brothers, Danny and Scotty Bohnen.
Woo! Thank you.
Guys. Hey,
thanks for having us.
The Good to be here, Aaron. Thanks, brother. Heck yeah.
The Blood Brothers.
I sort of forget that we have that attached to us because it just comes out of my mouth when we intro our podcast every time. And
yeah,
like, oh, it's the Blood Brothers. I'm like, why do people call us that? I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, why do y'all call y'all the Blood Brothers?
Dude.
Is that like a nickname from school, college?
No, honestly, it just was when we first started the podcast years and years ago. We had someone like that partnered with us who's not in the picture anymore.
Okay.
And he was like, you guys got to have like a name, like well, I don't think he thought of it specifically. We're like, oh, like Blood Brothers. And actually, before we had the podcast, you mentioned we were in a band. We would put on local shows around town, and we just thought of like, well, we should have a promotions name, and so we would call it like Blood Brothers Productions.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where that just started randomly. And then we're like, oh, the Blood Brothers. And now if you watch a couple of our films, we put Blood Brothers Productions at the beginning of those too. So
yeah, it just kind of like stuck. We didn't like really think of anything else. Like, that sticks pretty good. I mean, we're blood.
We are brothers, and we're
That's true.
Blood Brothers. I don't know. Blood has to do with horror.
Yeah. So I know that's kind of like cliche, but like there's things out there like
that's what's cool about it.
But that's what's
nostalgic
cool about it.
Yeah,
and
it's nostalgic and cliche.
Yeah, for sure. And I got to bring in the inner deep growl for the poolside growl when I say Blood Brothers, so like you have to add that in there too.
That is true. I mean, you have to have that guttural growl.
Yeah. Oh,
and
for sure.
And it's funny because at the last show we went to, we're sitting there having a drink, talking before the show, and then y'all get up on stage and perform. And my wife is like, "Wait, he can do that with his voice? He can make those sounds?"
Yeah.
And then you come off, "Hey guys, how you like your voice is all soft and
exactly." Yeah.
Like, how does he do that?
People. The guy was so nice. How's that coming out of him?
Does he take some
people
holes?
Always say that. I love it. You guys were coming to that show that was in Houston a few months back, and that was your second time seeing us in Houston, so it was a blast to meet your wife this time, and that was a lot of fun for sure.
It's too hot down there for me, man. Too humid and hot.
It wasn't that bad during that time.
That time wasn't as bad. Just in general.
So that time wasn't bad. I don't know if you check Instagram. I posted a picture yesterday of the temperature.
I think 114 or something,
and that was today. 114 was today.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Holy shnikes! That's
Yeah.
way too hot. I was like,
how you do it?
90 today here, and I was like, damn, that's hot.
See, they throw that acronym or that nickname of Texas Tough out there. That's mostly dealing with the temperature, not really anything else. That's just heat, like temperature
I don't know how
thickness.
anyone
Me, man.
like works outdoors down there. One of our buddies in a band that played when you came and saw us, he like works outside. He works like in the construction and laying pipe and stuff and outside all day in that heat. I'm just like, no fucking
How do
way.
you do it, man?
You have to get used to it. It's like, I remember like when I was in college, I used to push buggies at Walmart in that heat. And this is before they had the machines. We had like a rope and a stick to loop the carts up and pull them in. And that was like 8 hours.
Doing God. That. And just dying 114 heat.
Dying.
Jeez.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
Could not do it. Well, I'm glad we're in a nice AC room right now doing a podcast, hanging out.
And winter's coming, fall, the best time of the year.
Oh, here we are. Fall, man.
Well, for us, winter is like maybe 2 weeks. So
see, you got to get up Colorado. It's where it's at, man. It's fall starting in. We're going to have those chilly days and nights. And then into winter where it gets pretty cold, not like, Midwest or Montana cold, but it gets cold and I like it. And I like the snow. Lots of people like to get out of here when it snows, but nah.
It won't start snowing like November or December though, so we should be good.
I don't mind the cold. I love the cold weather. I mean, I own more hoodies than there are days of cold down here in Texas.
See, it gets cold in Houston though too. Those like ice storms down there.
You get to wear like 3 hoodies a year or something.
Pretty much. Like I've got like 9, and I'm like, I can only wear 3 of you. Which one am I wearing this year?
Yeah. Love the hoodie weather. Love it.
Love the hoodie weather. So you mentioned the podcast, and if people have following you, they know that you're still with the band because you've given the band interviews several times. What got you into the podcasting? Because I don't think you've really ever touched on that too much.
I don't know if we ever have, maybe once or twice.
Weird story. Back to Trevor, the guy we
weird with. Story. So we were at Scotty and I have a business together too, where we sell wall art online. We partner with artists and photographers, and we feature their work on canvas. We have a trusted supplier that builds and ships them for us. So it's in the beginning stages of that. We actually started selling print-on-demand apparel on our own store. Well, first we started on like Teespring, all these other third-party sites that you could sell T-shirts on, and then we opened our own store. And through all that, we were signing up for. We were a part of a couple different marketing masterminds, entrepreneur conventions, and so one guy we met at one of these masterminds that we paid to be a part of, his shtick was personal branding, and like his main thing now is that he encourages people and helps them write their own books and then get them rated and top seller and all that stuff,
which he wanted us to do multiple times too.
But at the time also, and I think maybe still, but at the time he was big into like getting people and helping them start their own podcasts. And so we met him and he was like gung-ho and just thought we were cool guys and was like, oh, you guys, I'd love to like partner with you on a podcast where
you guys are so outgoing. You're so personal.
We could help. I could help launch it. My team could help launch it. And I won't be on it, but you guys can like, I think, and he was like, I think a horror podcast. So you guys are passionate about horror and all this stuff. And
we were always talking about horror to him and
listen to you guys talk about it. And I was like, all right, well, at that point, I'd never even listened to a podcast episode in my life. I was like, I barely know what a podcast is.
Yeah.
He's like, so we just sort of we were like, all right, let's do it. And his team sort of put it together. We just sort of showed up and did it and planned it. And we just started pumping out weekly episodes. And
we started with our favorite movies.
With the classics. At first, it was very interview heavy. We interviewed a lot of people. And then we, eventually we just took over the whole thing, and he's not a part of it anymore. And then of course we added on Rob, and so we have More Than Us now and Carmelo later on. And it's just, and then at one point we stopped doing it for quite a while, and then we were sort of like, maybe we should do it. Like, it's just fun, it's just fun to
watch movie, talk just bullshit, meet every week, every other week, and just do what we love, talk about what we love and just banter, so
it's a weird origin story. Like we didn't really think of it.
It all spawned off from our e-commerce business in selling, t-shirts and then into canvases. And then the guy's like, you guys should do this too. you guys got the duo going of business partners. You should start a podcast too.
So I
and
think
write
he
a
just
book. I'm like, we'll start with the podcast first. And
yeah.
that sounds good, man. So we didn't know it was going to like last this long, and we just kind of started it, and we just kept consistent for a while. And now what? 6? I don't even know how many years. It's been.
I don't know, 6, 7,
later.
8 years
Been a
later.
while.
But
Years, yeah.
yeah, we haven't, as you know, we took a couple year break and then did a few here and there, and now we've been doing them mostly bi-weekly if we can get them scheduled.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I wouldn't have watched 90% of these movies if we wouldn't have this podcast, which
Maybe.
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think with
but then we get to
podcasting-
meet people like you guys. See?
Yeah. Well, I think with podcasting, it's fun when you're talking. It's the work before the show, after the show, and getting the episode to a format, which takes the work, and that's where people kind of quit out because they don't want to do the work. They want to talk, but then marketing, sharing, all of the other side stuff, they're like, I don't want to do that work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's true.
Thankfully, Danny does all that for us. So
someone's got to do it.
We do the research together though, and help.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, our guests back in the day we did. More lately, it's been for the last like 20 or so episodes. So
well, I mean, y'all had a good format of the synopsis being read, the rundown, the trivia stuff, the goofs, all the stuff like that.
Numbers.
It's a good format to have.
Well, thanks.
It's worked. Thanks, man.
Because everybody it sounds like everybody chips in whenever you're listening to it.
That's good. It does. And lately the format, has definitely solidified and it's become something that's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to the show over the years, you can definitely tell that we go through phases of being super prepared and a lot of info on these films, and then maybe just bantering about it because we don't know shit about it.
Either that or you can't find a lot on some of the more obscure
some
films
of them you can't. It's true. You'll hit an obscure one that there's no Blu-ray with special features, there's no nothing, there's like Wikipedia, and that's it.
Like I found out today with that one movie, or yesterday with that one movie that we had to change out.
Although we found a version and I'm like a third of the way through it.
Oh, you did it? It's the full screen.
I found it.
It's like, I don't know if I'd say it's like the square screen.
Yes.
Square. It's a square screen and the graphics are horrible, but I think it's supposed to be that way, right? It's
supposed to be that way, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the version I found was on YouTube, but it was cropped square and it cuts off like a lot of the screen.
Okay.
So you can't see the full thing because things in that movie that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to give people to have their hopes up.
Yeah.
But things happen in the corners that start creeping forward over time.
Okay.
So
I think I'm seeing the full screen here. Yeah, it is square still, but it's the full screen.
It's like some internetarchive.org site or something.
Oh, okay, okay. The one I found was on YouTube, and I'm like, I can't send these to the guys. I can't do them dirty like this.
But I am interested. I'm like right up to the part right now. Can we talk about what we're talking about?
Yeah, we could do that.
The WNUF Halloween special, and I've watched it. I had a little bit of time today, but didn't complete it. So it's a good thing we swapped it out. But I'm like right up to they're about to go in this house. So I paused it. I was actually watching a little bit of it before we jumped on here. So I might finish it when we get off.
I might watch it now that I just know that it's out there to see. I might watch that link. I'll send you the link too, Aaron, just so you have it. It seems like
I have the Blu-ray.
You have the Blu-ray?
You have the Blu-ray. So you don't even need it.
Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray last year because I had the DVD. The DVD came in a horror pack. And then when they announced the Blu-ray, I'm like, I'll upgrade. I'll do that. I like this movie enough to own it.
Yeah.
And and then today when I was researching, I'm like, wait a minute, it's going for this amount?
Yeah.
I saw that.
I'm like,
so they must have done a limited release. It got sold out. I read something about, I think on Reddit or something. And then up until recently, maybe it was on Shudder too.
It was on Shudder, yeah.
Yeah. So I missed out when it was on Shudder.
Yeah. I'll watch it for sure.
And what I tell people is that when you watch this movie, watch Late Night with the Devil like shortly afterwards, because it feels like a full movie.
That's cool.
Ooh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that.
And then I found out today that there is actually a sequel to WNUF, but it's about aliens. It's like a different genre, but still the same style.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
hell yeah.
With like the video recording.
Nice. My fave.
Nice. So it
Yeah.
is like a found footage then, because
Yeah, a newscast. It's like a
TV
news
reporter,
recording,
the
like,
newscast.
Yeah.
TV recording type thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's
still
cool.
got the newscast, got the camera.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Similar.
So, anyways, speaking of movies, and we're in the spooky season, and everything like that. Are there any movies that you watch annually during the Halloween season that you have to kind of do? That's your tradition. You got to watch it.
Oh yeah.
You have to watch it through. You got to see it this year. Do you have any of those movies?
Oh yeah. Well, Shining for sure for me.
Yeah, we
We're
probably have the
just
same
talking about
answers. I think we're gonna have the same
I
answer.
watch The Shining every year. I mean, even Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
That's on. Or even like Evil Dead 2013. I like
Yes.
have on.
That one-
There's just always horror movies running on, especially when the kids are bed. I just have, or even when I'm working, I'll have something on. But sit down and watch. Yeah, I'd say Evil Dead 2, 2013, The Shining.
Mhm.
Even I like the first Friday the 13th on for the first Halloween. Trick or Treat is one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, those are like the staples that I do. What
I
about you,
think
Danny?
Trick or Treat has become a staple for almost everybody now because of that
Yeah.
movie.
I haven't quite
So Halloweeny.
I haven't
Yeah.
quite made it a staple yet, but I've watched it a couple times over the last like 3 years
Yeah.
around the Halloween season. But yeah, I always intentionally watch The Shining
Yep.
and usually intentionally watch at least the first Evil Dead. And then kid related, like we always watch Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween
An in-betweener movie that you could watch that Halloween or Christmas.
Yeah.
or
one of the
Christmas.
in-between
Yeah.
Or like Hocus Pocus too.
Hocus Pocus. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's
those
on there
are
too.
those are actually probably my only two like mainstays every year. The rest sort of shuffle around and switch
Yeah.
about, but it's
I'd say
always
the
those
same.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will suggest one besides WNUF. There's an indie film called Satan's Little Helper, which is
Ooh, okay.
really fun. I enjoy it. I know people I've suggested it to. They've enjoyed it as well. But what gets people on it is that there's a scene involving a cat,
Mhm.
even though you could tell that it's a fake cat.
Yeah, of course.
There's a scene that involves a cat that people are like, nope, turn it off. And no cruelty to animals.
Yep.
Turn it off.
I'm guessing there's
that's
some
funny.
cruelty to the cat.
There is, yes. But it's a good movie though. It's not a lot of people know about it, and I know it's on Shudder.
I'm gonna
And I
run.
also believe it's also on Vudu for free with ads. I
Okay.
wanna say.
Satan's Little Helper.
Okay.
Yep, Satan's Little Helper. It's got a crazy looking mask on the cover for like the
Check it
box
out.
art.
All right.
Like a jester, like a Joker looking like grin face.
Mm.
But definitely really cool to check
I'll
out.
check it
I'll
out.
check
I
it out.
don't get as many horror movies in as I should around. Well, just a lot because I'm the only one in my household that. Well, my kids are too young to watch horror movies,
Yeah,
and my wife just doesn't like them. So I'm like,
yeah.
it's just me
Yeah.
alone watching horror movies.
I should
whenever
come
get
over to your
to it.
house, or you should come to my house. We should just do brother dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
you
did
go.
we did a lot when we did the podcast. But my wife will occasionally watch. She'll watch like anything slasher,
Mhm.
anything like fun like that. She just doesn't like the paranormal stuff, so
Okay.
she usually sits out that. But anything slasher or besides paranormal, she'll watch it for sure.
My wife's in the same boat. No torture porn. She hates the torture stuff.
Yeah,
And she does not like anything that's like demonic or satanic with like the ritualistic stuff. Like
same with my wife.
pentagrams. She hates. It's like we're watching one of the movies that's on our list tonight. We're watching it, and she's like into it, and then there's that room scene, and she's like, "Nope, I'm out. Sorry, I'm out."
Yep.
I'm like,
Can't do
"Okay." She can't watch it. Can't watch it. But she loves Tucker and Dale. That's like one of her favorites is Tucker and Dale.
That's a good one too. Yeah,
Oh,
and-
nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Tucker Dale versus
Yeah, you gotta
Evil.
add a little comedy in there too.
Yeah.
You gotta have
Uh,
comedy in there. It
Yeah.
makes it fun.
I
Yeah.
like the comedies.
I mean, she was cracking up during another one of the movies that's on the list that I'll get into later. But she loves that one too,
Yeah.
just because of the comedy aspect to it.
Nice. There's one of the lists that had the comedy aspect that I like too.
And my wife will be weird about she really doesn't watch any, but then she'll pick out one that like the trailer looked interesting and it has to be huge mainstream, So like when the first Quiet Place came out, that was it was sort of like a big deal. Like, the trailer came out and it was this big thing, John Krasinski, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that like piqued her interest enough where she's like, I want to see Quiet Place. And then like just actually recently she went with me. It's not totally horror, but she went to see Romulus with me because I had like forced her to watch all the aliens long ago, and she's still sort of like, well, I've seen them all. Like, I want to see the new one. I was like, all right, fuck it.
Come on with.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's really cool. I'm a big Aliens fan. I even started reading the novels to see
yeah.
the
Ooh,
differences. First Aliens, first half of the book is boring as hell because it's all just talking. But then once the stuff starts happening, you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't in the movie, but that should have been.
But they're all written, they're all novelizations of the movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. I
Biggest
read
difference-
Resurrection once. I don't know if it's the same one.
There's
I read like
probably
a
a-
shorter version of it.
Well, Resurrection, there's two different versions. There's the original
Okay.
screenplay version, and then there's the one that the novelization was loosely based on.
Oh, okay. I think I did the screenplay because it had like pictures from the movie in it. And
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. That
Oh
was
wow!
it.
Oh, I remember that book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot more in the books than there is in like the movies.
Well, in the first book, there's no description of the alien at all except for it being giant and a dark figure.
Oh wow!
That
You don't
was
even
it.
know. You don't even know exactly what it is then.
No
Wow.
tail. You see, they say it's a giant shiny hand that grabs somebody by the ankle. There's no description.
Wow.
That's
That
it.
leaves your mind to wonder. That's
Yeah, so
freaky.
so I'm like reading it, waiting for them to describe like the shininess, the biomechanical aspect of it. Nothing. I'm like, okay, that's even
Right.
freakier.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that makes you go to sleep
Yeah.
with a light. I'm like, what the heck is that dark shiny thing?
That's true.
Man.
So you mentioned your kids. You both are dads. With horror aspect, are you going to introduce them to it slowly, like taking the Scooby Doo route, Goosebumps? Are you afraid of the dark? That type of route to slowly build them up,
Yeah.
or
I mean, yeah, my wife. Well, first of all, it's my wife is just taking all that over. Like I'm already trying. I'm already trying to show him sneak some stuff, and she's like, no. So I haven't really mapped that out yet because every time I try, like I'm trying to get my 6 and 7-year-old. I think they should watch Jurassic Park now, but my wife's like, no, they cannot watch Jurassic Park. Like that's PG-13. There's no way. And I'm like, oh, but sometimes I agree with her because we'll see something that's PG and like a little thing in it will still scare them, And I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that scared them, then maybe they shouldn't watch Jurassic Park. But
Yeah. I actually did the first Goosebumps with my daughter. She's 5, and she got very freaked out on that one. But she sat in my lap the whole time and mainly covered her eyes. And I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't. And this was when my wife was gone for the night, so I told her about it when she left, but she didn't have any hearsay when she wasn't there. So, but I think that would be the way that I would go. Like, now she wants to watch the second Goosebumps, of course. 'Cause she watched the first one, but she was peeking. And but Are You Afraid of the Dark and kind of like like PG horror movies like that, like she does Hocus Pocus and Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's not like too scary. But I like Goosebumps has some jump scares, so but yeah, and of course we watch her podcast movies. I'm like up in the other room and she like walk in. I'm like, nope, don't come in here, no. But she's peeked in on a few scenes where she's like, oh my god. I'm like, yep, okay, you can go now.
See, I made that mistake 3 years ago showing my kids what I thought was a kid-friendly movie because I watched it when I was their age, and that was Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh yeah.
And when the troll pops up the first time, they both started screaming. I'm like, oh, okay, turn it off. Okay, we're done. We'll go back to watching Ichabod Crane or something.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. But Ghostbusters perfectly fine. Gremlins perfectly fine. Goosebumps, both movies perfectly fine. Ernest Scared Stupid, finally last year they were both like, we love this movie.
You think it'd be the other way around? Oh my!
You think so?
What the?
Especially with Gremlins at the end when the chainsaw and they're fighting in the department store.
Oh yeah,
they were fine with that. That was great.
Yeah, they're just they're just little gremlins. No big deal. Okay. Oh my gosh, man.
Yeah, we'll go to Target and we'll see Gizmo on the shelf and a gremlin. Someone will go up there and start petting him on the head. I'm like,
wow,
you could do that.
Yeah.
But you couldn't watch Ernest.
I'll watch Ernest Scared. I'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I can bring that up to my wife. I haven't seen that in forever. But
yeah, I think I'm doomed. They're going to be watching.
Yeah,
they'll get to watch all that stuff when they're like 12 or 13. I don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, once every year passes, especially like the month of October when my wife gives me some leeway. Maybe we can slowly introduce them to more PG or PG-13 that's like a little more scarier. So
I saw The Exorcist, or at least clips of it, when I was way too young, and it did scar me for like my whole childhood. And so I definitely don't want that to happen to my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain
That's like the
scenes-
scariest movie I ever made. So that
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
happen.
Well, I mean, like I saw Aliens when I was like 10, and the scene that scarred me was when they lifted up the roof, the ceiling, and you saw them all like crawling upside down towards you.
Oh, yeah.
That scared the hell
Yeah.
out of me when I was 10.
Dude, I would have freaked
Really?
out when I was 10 too.
So, like-
I saw that one pretty early.
Yeah.
I just remember like every time I go into a room, I look up the ceiling to make sure nothing was crawling like along
Yeah.
there. Yeah, just that scene like scared me. But again, after that, I'm like, I love Aliens. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. It has that profound effect.
And I love
on you
horror,
when you're a
like-
kid.
Yeah.
And
And
now
my
it's like,
dad took some
boom.
liberties when we were younger and showed us some horror movies earlier on, and
Yeah.
they were a little creepy. I remember them being a little creepy, but not too bad. And now we have this love of horror, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he
Yeah.
started us on like The Shining and like House and The Haunting and all those, you know.
Cujo,
But yeah, Cujo and the Stephen King
mainly Christine,
great.
mainly Stephen King movies. Cujo, Christine, Shining. My dad liked all those classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a lot
What's
of
it
Van
called?
Damme.
Oh,
A lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
who doesn't love a good Van Damme movie? I mean,
Dude,
Legionnaire.
man. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I actually
Hard work,
own
cheesy, but so good.
for a while. I collected them on DVD, and I stopped after, I don't know, when they weren't as, when he got older and he kept making them. But I have them all the way up to like 2001 or something. I got like every Van Damme movie.
Oh,
ever
wow.
made. Yeah, on DVD in my house here.
So I did the same thing with them, but I kept going until maybe 2010.
Okay.
So I got all the direct-to-DVD ones like
Nice.
JCVD,
Okay,
Legionnaire.
so I still have JCVD and In Hell. Do you remember that? Like
In
that's,
Hell,
that's a really good one.
was it
But
Replicant?
I stopped when I have Replicant too. So maybe I stopped later. I stopped when it was like there was one with like Vivica A. Fox, and it was like not very good. And
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah.
like I can't even recall a lot of his ones in the last 10 years.
Yeah, they're well. I mean, just like Steven Seagal, you have to like really
Yeah.
search them out to watch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were you find like 10 of his movies on like a $5 disc at Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh,
And that's what I was buying.
Done
That's
deal.
what I was buying.
then I'll get you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always
Van
good to
Damme.
have a throwback Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
You gotta have those movies.
Easy to watch.
They bring out the fun. They bring out the nostalgia.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Until you realize that bump on his forehead is like growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. Oh
It
my
is.
God.
It's its own character.
Always there.
It's his
I
own
love the
Rob.
bump.
That's his own Rob.
It
So-
is.
Yeah.
It's his conscience,
His
He's
third
getting
eye.
a bigger conscience as he grows older.
So speaking of love of horror, we're reaching this period now where we got to jump into what you're here for.
Yep.
The thing. So basically, here are the rules. It's basically popular vote 2-1, or all three of you sweeps. We're going on the bracket that I kind of put toward y'all's favorite kind of subcategory. I mean, found footage.
Yes.
She Walks the Woods, found footage movie.
Love
what-
found footage.
Your newest movie, Name the Demon, is that found footage or
It is totally found footage.
Name the
yeah.
Demon.
found
Love it.
footage?
Yeah.
See, I love found footage movie as well. I love those types of movies. So there was a bracket that's all found footage movies because that's one category that we haven't had on this show yet.
Nice.
And that was supposed to be last year, but instead we did a family friendly bracket and that kind of took it over.
Nice.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what I usually do is I get 20 to 30 movies. I get a giant randomizer wheel, put them all in there. Whatever first 8 movies pops up goes on the brackets.
Nice.
That's how it works.
Nice.
Except for today when we had to make a last minute change.
That's
but-
true.
We'll get to that.
That's okay.
That's true.
It happens. It's the wheel of randomization, and it will either hurt your pick or you will love the pick.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm
One of the
excited.
two. One of the two. And let's start this off. So the
Okay.
first battle, remember, 2 points win, it progresses forward.
Okay.
First up, we have the Deep House versus the switch out today, Deadstream.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh.
That's an easy one for me.
Oh.
Deadstream is, I think it's revolutionary in found footage, and I love it. And it came out, and I just fucking love it. And Deep House is great. Don't get me wrong. And Scotty just watched it, and I didn't rewatch it but I had seen it like last year.
Yeah. I saw
Very
it last
unique
year,
as
too.
well. Creepy dive movie. You don't really see dive found footage a whole lot. But God, Deadstream. Now they have that Chad Gets the Axe, which is similar to it that just came out.
And there's another one too that's similar to that one as well.
Is it? Maybe I haven't seen that one. But
there's three of them on Shudder now. There's Chad Gets the Axe, Deadstream, and then there's another one.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me what it is.
Like hashtag spooky or it's hashtag something.
Okay.
But there's another one that's on there too that deals with the live streaming.
Okay, but yeah, it was the first one to maybe not the very first because you had host and stuff, but
yeah,
the first one to really go like I'm an influencer. This is live streamed. There's comments coming up on the screen, and the guy is hilarious. It's he's hilarious. The film's hilarious, and it's a duo that made a couple of VHS segments too. So
they did.
Yeah, so I like Deadstream gets my vote. I love Deadstream.
Oh man, this is a toughie. I just watched the Deep House like 3 days ago, and it was really good.
It's good.
I'd never seen it. Yeah, it was really good, and I'm actually I dive a lot and I scuba dive a lot. Got certified back in like 2017, and it like having that panic of you only have 60 minutes of air and you're going down there in this house, and you just see like they keep checking their air, they keep checking their gauge to see how much air, and they're just running out. Like I have 10%, and then all this shit goes down. You're like, there's no way they're gonna get out of this alive. Yeah. And oh man, that's a tough one for me. And then of course Deadstream
Mildred.
For me, yeah. I don't know. It's just
his scream is hilarious. His scream is hilarious.
Mildred!
Yeah, Deep House was so unique. You don't see a lot of found footage like underwater. They're underwater in this lake, and
just give us your answer.
Whole town.
Well, before you answer,
I think Deadstream was like.
Did you see after credits? Aaron's wondering on Deep House.
What's that? The after credits?
There's after credits on Deep House.
No,
I saw that. I don't think I stayed for that.
Maybe I did. No, I didn't. Shit, I know that she was coming up to the surface. Okay, I won't say anything.
Or I did and forgot about it.
I know she was coming up to the surface, and then
don't give it away.
I'll watch it right after this.
Yeah,
I'll watch it right after this.
Okay.
But overall, I think Deadstream, they're both very unique and very revolutionary too. Overall, I thought Deadstream was a little bit spookier and a little more jump scary. So I'd have to just say Deadstream is my vote too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a very tough one. Very tough.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And this is the first one. And for those who didn't, like as you talked about earlier, we had to do a switch out with Deadstream and WNUF because up until recently, I did not know that they had pulled that from Shudder.
Yeah.
And what I try to do with all the listings is have them easily accessible for people to watch. That way they can kind of follow along with the brackets as well too, to have their pick. And I made the list a few weeks ago, not realizing that they had pulled it. So I'm like, crap. I didn't realize it until literally earlier today.
Yeah. And we were trying to find the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's okay.
No worries. We did find it again, but we haven't watched the whole thing.
Time to watch it.
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
But
I watched all the other ones.
My pick would have been the Deep House just because of the paranoia and like the franticness of being underwater, trapped underwater.
Yeah.
And then things popping up because things are floating in water and there's no gravity. There's really no gravity.
It's so hard to move around. Oh, that's really a tough one for me, man.
It is decision. Tough. I would rather be in the situation of Deadstream than Deep House. Don't get me wrong. Yep. But I just like watching Deadstream better.
So if it's more panicky, I'd pick Deep House. Like I would rather be.
If the bracket was, what would you rather be experiencing?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think you could survive? You survive the Deep House. Yeah, survive the
not Deep House.
Deadstream.
My ears mess with me all the time, and I think I don't even know if I should try diving because I think my ears would just be.
I mean, I've stayed down for like 50 minutes one time, but there's no way. Oh shit, my thing is my echo's making sounds. Sorry.
Alexa, oh boy.
Sorry guys. There we go. So in freaking dang our Alexa.
Oh, now she's gonna start talking.
No, I just turned her off. But like being down there, like you only have like when you're panicking and you use all the air, like your air goes like that. And I've turned like a 60-minute tank into like like my first like 3 or 4 times into like 30 minutes. Like you can burn through air so quickly. And when shit goes down in that movie, man, they're like heaving and breathing. And
Yeah, they are.
that's a tough one, man. It was a really good movie.
And that was the first battle. That was the first one.
Battle. First one down.
It only for some it gets worse, for some it gets easier.
Okay.
All right. Ready.
So next up, we have Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon versus Grave Encounters.
Ooh, God dang it! Oh my God!
If I may, they're both amazing. Grave Encounters is just more my brand of found footage. I think it's a little creepier.
It is.
Puts you a little more, gives you the ooze before you go to bed. But of course, Leslie Vernon has some humor in it, and is a whole different animal. It's amazing as well. But I'm gonna go with Grave Encounters. I also saw that long ago. It was early on in my found footage journey, and then I watched it smoking cigars with Rob in Florida, and so it just holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, dude, I love Grave Encounters too, and Grave Encounters too.
Yeah, this is the watch both.
God, I just watched Leslie Vernon 2 days ago.
Cameos, the story, the twist.
I feel like Aaron's pushing for Leslie Vernon.
I mean, I'm going to pick Leslie Vernon because of the cameos. Before certain people died in real life, you got some cameos.
That's true.
You got some comedy aspect to it.
Yeah.
You have someone who has only like 3 credits to her name, and one of those credits is Home Alone, and she's in this movie.
That's true.
So, and then I think what gets me is the twist at the end, because he sets it up, has his target group. But that's not the target.
Yes. And how did the killer know that it would all follow through the way he planned it? Like, wow, that was pretty awesome.
He even told them what he was going to do the entire time.
Yeah. And knew they were going to break.
He laid out the plans. He's like, here's what's going to happen. They're going to do this. I'm nailing these windows shut. I'm sawing these branches halfway through.
That was pretty cool.
Dude, I know. And they still broke and went again, and like they knew his whole plan, but then they didn't,
Well, they just never believed it.
He had a plan over the other plan, it's crazy.
It's good.
I'm gonna, just because I just watched it and I thought it was genius, and I hadn't seen a movie like that, and I like the time period it was set in. I love Grave Encounters, but I'm gonna go for Leslie Vernon.
Leslie Vernon.
All right.
Ooh,
I'm gonna do it.
All right.
The brothers split.
It's a split decision.
Yeah, it's so good. It's fresh in my head. I liked it.
It is. I mean, they're both really good movies. I love Grave Encounters, and I recommend Grave Encounters to people who love found footage movies. I'm like, have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah, the box art's a little kind of wonky. It's like a Blockbuster Video, direct-to-movie DVD.
Yeah.
Box art. But once you get past, both these movies have that. But once you get past that, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And Grave Encounters is more my style usually. It is, but I'm just gonna go with something new because it was something that I hadn't seen really. So
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give the situation answer. I'd rather be dealing with Leslie Vernon than in the Grave Encounters Asylum.
Yes,
out there.
Yes,
that is true.
Me too.
Very much true.
Me too.
Unless now, did you see the after credits for Leslie Vernon?
Yes, I did. I did watch that one. Yes.
I can't remember. I have the worst memory in the world. I'm just letting
the morgue. It's the morgue, but he rises.
The morgue.
Up
okay, I did see that. Yep. I did see
he
that.
rises up.
I'll have to watch the Deep House after this.
So what's that song? That Psycho Killer song?
Yeah, it's the Psycho Killer. Da, 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 Psycho Killer.
So maybe he is like a little paranormal to him.
Yeah.
Or he's alive.
He ascends. So funny story. I got to meet the guy who played Leslie Vernon at a convention years ago.
Oh, really?
And they had the script for the second movie. They did a Kickstarter. Nobody.
I heard it fell apart.
It fell apart. But he had the script, and the way they had it set up was more so like one long interrogation scene, like in Batman, where they're doing flashbacks. Because now, at the time, everybody had cell phones and there's security cameras and all that. So it's a bunch of flashbacks of how he took out other victims. But the real twist was that he wanted to get the girl that survived, have her come back to interview him because, again, that's his final target.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a whole thing in it. I didn't get to read the script fully the way through, but it sounded really crazy. I'm like, this still needs to be made.
I can't believe it hasn't been made yet. I mean, what a great.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, and this might be a weird thing to say, but literally, our Carmelo, who has made a couple films with us now, was like, we should reach out to because they had a Kickstarter that fell apart, and I bet we could make that like with as a team effort. I was like, well, maybe. I don't know. If we brought the financing, and I was like,
I mean, Nathan Basil, the guy who played Leslie Vernon, he talks to everybody. He's a super cool guy. He's open for anything.
He's so funny. He's so good.
Oh, he's good. He's great. But moving right along, next battle, we have The Taking of Deborah Logan versus Creep.
Oh God, dang it!
They're like,
damn it.
They're hard, but they're not, because you're naming like some of my go-tos. But then you're putting them against ones that are so good, but aren't necessarily my go-tos. So
it's almost this is almost like the same exact one we just did, like Leslie Vernon versus freaking Grave Encounters.
So I got to go with Deborah Logan. It's just, I think it's one of the scarier, creepier found footage movies out there. The actress playing Deborah Logan does such a great job. And it's just that jaw scene at the end with her just trying to eat the child like a snake. It just doesn't get any creepier than that. But Creep is very, very good. I love it. It's brutal. And Creep 2 is awesome. And now they're doing that Creep series coming out soon.
Yeah, they are.
But I got to go with Deborah Logan. It's exactly on my brand that I like. It's like possession, found footage horror. It's sort of right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, oh God, Creep, when I first saw it, it's like the same thing. It was so, like, I didn't see what was coming. Like, this guy's so nice.
The ending scene in Creep was like, you weren't expecting that.
No.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, and what's the Mark Duplass is the guy who plays it, and he's so funny. He's like a comedian usually, and then even during Creep, he's just hilarious and so funny. I almost compare it to Leslie Vernon, but how his like demeanor is almost the same as the guy that played Leslie Vernon. But then he just goes freaking bonkers and gets like freaking angry and has that look in his eye like, oh shit, this guy's gonna flip. I thought it was very well done, and I loved Creep, but I'm gonna have to go with Deborah Logan too, because it's just one of the scariest found footage I've ever seen, and I love it. And my wife actually watched it with me, not really knowing. Like, oh, it's not paranormal; it's just a lady with Alzheimer's, and she had nightmares for like the month after we watched that. But yeah, I'm going with Deborah Logan.
I mean, Deborah Logan came out whenever the movie The Visit was still in theaters. Yeah. So if you saw the movie The Visit,
they're similar.
I think you saw Deborah Logan, you're thinking, oh, this is the same thing, but possibly better because it's not M. Night.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people love M. Night. I'm a fan of some of his movies.
Me too. Yeah.
But sometimes the ending is like, you don't always have to have a twist. Just have an ending that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then when you're watching Deborah Logan, you're thinking, oh, this is just a crazy woman.
Yeah.
Like The Visit. And then you get that cave scene. You're like, holy crap, they were right all along.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Oh God, I know.
And obviously the stuff leading up to it. I mean, the windows opening after being nailed shut, and just a lot of like.
And then you see the blood on the windows, and she's in the middle of like the dark forest with blood on her back.
Just the awesome devilly stuff, you know.
You know, hey, go clean the stove. Get inside the stove and really clean it for me. Help me out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and then taking the little child. She takes the little child.
She like goes from standing on the counter or down to standing on the counter. I was just like, oh.
Jill Larson. That's what her name is. She's so good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Both are good movies, but we're gonna sweep this one because Deborah Logan is just
dope.
Sweep. I mean that ending scene that's become a GIF.
Yeah.
Dude,
so many things.
She's like a snake biting that girl's head. Oh my God. That's the freakiest. You're going through that cave and oh my God, man.
Yeah.
So good.
It's up there.
Yeah. That's what I watched. I've watched that multiple times. That's one of the I've seen that like 3 or 4 times now. I watched it with my sister-in-law. She's like, I want to see a scary movie. I'm like, oh, see, movies don't scare me.
It is because I've watched it a handful of times in the last couple of years, because it's one of those where if you're with somebody and they want to watch a movie and let's watch a scary movie, and you say, have you seen Taking a Deborah Logan? And they're like, no, I haven't. It's like, oh, well, that's what we're watching.
Yeah.
If you want to get scared, that's what we're watching.
And then if they want to see like something brutal, I go to Evil Dead 2013. So.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Evil Dead 2013 is so good. That
Love it.
Such a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, next one up, Hell House 2, The Abaddon versus As Above, So Below.
Oh,
Ooh,
keep slipping them right into where it's, again, the same dilemma. Although
you just watched Hell House 2.
I did while I was catching it. It's funny because Aaron's like, here's the movies we're doing in case you want to catch up on any of them. And I hadn't watched Hell House 2 for, I don't know, a good 4 years or 5 years. And so I was like, let me watch that again. Then I was like, but if I'm going to watch 2, I might as well watch 1 again before, even though I have seen that like a few times. And then I watched 2, and then I was like, well, I might as well watch the rest of them. So over the last like 4 days, I've just watched all the Hell House LLCs again. But I'm going to say that 2's the worst one out of all of them. And I think it also has like the worst acting in it out of all of them. The couple girls they got, it was just...
That one does.
Yeah. So and then you mentioned As Above, So Below, which is actually also one of my go-tos. It's like right up there with Taking a Deborah Logan. It's right up there with Grave Encounters.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, I've seen it a handful of times, and ever since the first time I saw it, I love how they mess with sort of like time continuum and locations and stuff. It's like anytime a movie does that, and especially if you mix it with found footage, like the newer, like Blair Witch 2016, and I just love it when that happens. And so I have to choose As Above, So Below. Had you said Hell House 1 or maybe 3, I might have had a little bit tougher time, but I just think the second one's the weakest one out of that whole series.
Okay.
I'll just say ditto completely on all that. So
I will agree. As Above, So Below, I like how they were able to cut away when they're doing transitions from shots to different things.
Yeah.
But that one scene that has like the piano or the car that's on fire inside the tunnels, because you don't see a glow at all. You don't see any kind of glow in the background or reflection. No. It just happens.
Yeah.
But the transition was so smooth. I'm like, I wasn't expecting fire to be underground.
Yeah. God.
And and it's a good movie. I mean, As Above, So Below was just really well written and just really well, I think, the filming of it.
Yeah.
It was one of the
older
found footage kind of, but it's like that's when I saw, I'm like, God, I haven't seen anything like this. It was kind of groundbreaking too.
And it had you could tell it had a budget to it, like probably a lot more than any of the Hell House movies did. It was more of that, like Cloverfield had a budget to it. And so they're all, I think it's a little bit of a higher tier of budget level and filmmaker that made it,
Yeah, I guess it was 2014, so it was still kind of fresh, but yeah, I love all the Hell House series. I love the whole Hell House series. Like they're all great, and like I like the first, and I think the second one's still good. I still like it, but I think the first one's my favorite, obviously, and then I think the second one probably is the weakest if I had to pick.
I'll agree that one is the weakest.
Yeah.
But As Above, So Below wins it for me for sure. It's just I need to watch it again, but it's just like they're in that cave, man. Like they just like you don't even know where they're at. Like where are you at now? Like I've never seen this part, and it's like they're never gonna get out. But it has that same claustrophobia feel, like you're suffocating. So it's just, man, it's scary. Yeah. It's good.
Definitely is. Well, gentlemen, we've gone through the first round.
Yes,
we're down to our final 4 now.
What did you pick?
Oh, I picked As Above, So Below.
Oh, okay. All right. I wasn't clear on that.
I'm sorry. I mean, with the Hell House series, I love part 1.
Yeah.
But my favorite is part 3, just because they start bringing things back around to where it makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like the breadcrumbs that they dropped in the first movie are skipped in part 2, but then they're picked up and they're sort of collected back in part 3. And then with Legacy, that's the complete like wraparound story that's bringing everything back together.
Yeah, I did think because I love Carmichael Manor, the newest one, and it's almost its own thing because it's a different location, but still creepy as hell. I did think they could have. I think it's the first one. I think it's the first one where they barely mentioned that this Carmichael was the sole survivor of the cult, right? And
Yes.
I didn't think they nailed it home enough in the last one, and then explained it well enough for unless people remembered that from like the first one, which I guess hopefully they
Well,
do.
They did like flashbacks and transitions to show parts from the first movie to help people out with short-term memory.
Oh
yeah, that's true. And he did come. He came home that night, and he's like, "They're all dead. I was in jail." Like all this stuff. So but
and then the next movie is supposed to be more about Carmichael and the whole origin. There's even
from before that even. I mean,
before that.
Yeah, we want to know. Maybe we want to know about like more about Tully and the origin of this cult. This whole cult that came together.
Like how all that happened. But
yeah, I thought the ending of 2 with Tully sitting there talking, and it was just there's too much talking, and then the acting in the beginning, and there's too much going back to the newscast, and I don't know.
True.
True. So, but anyways, yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, the final 4, we got Deadstream versus Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Oh, righty then. Okay.
I'm sticking with Deadstream. I'm sticking with it.
Oh man.
For previously mentioned reasons. I love it. It's hilarious. I love it.
they're both hilarious.
It's scary and hilarious. Leslie Vernon's funny. It's not necessarily scary to me. It's good. It's like
it's more slappery. And it's the concept is amazing that
it is.
The film crew is following this guy planning his kills, and it's cool how they like, oh yeah, and I based this off Jason, and oh Fred and Mike, they were good in their day, and they talk about all the other
well, I mean, you visit Haddonfield with somebody raking his leaves, which is what the hell's his name? Kane Hodder raking his leaves in Haddonfield.
Yep, that's right.
They talk about Fred Krueger out of what's the name of the city?
Springwood.
Springwood. Yeah.
Is it?
So yeah, they're mentioning all the slasher icons to set up the universe.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're
so
doing
good.
that.
Yeah. I love both. I'm gonna have to go with Deadstream too, though. I love Leslie Vernon. I just saw Deadstream recently too, again, and they're both so good. They're almost a tie for me.
They're both really good.
If I had to, I'd do Deadstream.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna pick Leslie Vernon, but it's again 2-on-1 because I love Leslie Vernon.
Shit.
It's all right.
But Deadstream is fun. I love Deadstream. I think it's hilarious. And if any movie is going to beat Leslie Vernon, I'll have to give it to Deadstream.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're both very similar. Yeah,
they both very much are. They both very much are similar to a degree.
Scary and comedic. Yeah,
true. But yeah, Deadstream takes that.
All right.
All right. We got Taking of Deborah Logan versus As Above, So Below.
Oh no! This is where it gets hard. This is where it's really hard.
I was worried this was gonna happen.
I can't even. I don't even know.
You gotta pick one, and the other one gets tossed in a big old vat of lava to be.
Shoot!
This one is the first real tough one for me.
I don't know if I can.
Do you want me to pick first to kind of ease the tension?
You go first.
All right, I'm gonna pick Deborah Logan. That's
all right.
I mean, again. The build up with the tension because you don't know if it's true or not. You've got the lady. I forget the actor. I forget her name, but she was like the sister from Mad About You.
Yeah,
dark hair sister.
I just had it up.
The build up to it, you don't know if she's crazy or if it's fake or if it's real. And then when it all hits, you're like, "Holy shit, this is what's really happening."
Yeah, Anna Ramsey was in it.
Yeah,
I'm still so torn.
So you're picking Deborah Logan, Aaron.
I'm taking Deborah Logan.
Okay.
I'm doing it too. Deborah Logan. I think Deborah Logan overall scared me more than As Above, and As Above just like was still very entertaining though. I wasn't quite as scared though.
You weren't quite as scared.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought like. Okay, this is gonna be hard. I As Above, So Below had that creep factor. Like shit, I'm caught. I'm never gonna get out. How are we ever gonna get out of here? Just visually watching Deborah Logan visually scared me more though. the situation, I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know if I'd rather be in the Deborah Logan situation.
I'd rather be in the Deborah Logan situation.
I'd rather be in the
I don't
Deborah
wanna be
Logan situation.
stuck in
Than
a
as above, so below. So that would win that. But as far as like a genius movie with Alzheimer's and stuff, I'd have to go with Deborah Logan too.
All right, swept.
It is definitely swept. I mean, Deborah Logan takes
Taking
that.
Deborah Logan.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes it. And we're in the final two.
Oh
We're definitely in the
shit!
final two now.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's Deadstream versus Taking a Deborah Logan.
Oh my God! Now we're at it. Now we're at it.
I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I'm still gonna go Deborah Logan. I am. It's a classic.
I thought you were Deadstream all the way.
I know. I did.
Yeah.
I maybe did too, but it's Deborah Logan's my brand again. Generic. I shouldn't use the word generic, but it's not a
Is
live
she
stream.
possessed? Is
It's
she not?
scary.
Who knows?
She's maybe possessed. It's tough. It's
Her
tough. But
skin,
it's
it's
tough.
more gory, just fucking like defiling.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Deborah Logan. I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna go with Deborah Logan.
I might regret it later, but I'm doing it.
You're gonna.
Aaron, what are you doing?
No, I'm looking up another movie
Mm.
because I remember there's 3 of those comedy movies like Deadstream.
Yeah.
besides Chad dies at the end.
Yeah,
And I was trying to find the 3rd movie, but I can't find it. It's not
Okay.
listed on
I'm
their,
keeping an eye out for
their
it.
site.
I can just rip the Band-Aid off while you're looking.
Oh no, I'm ready to vote. I'm ready to
going with
vote.
taking a Deborah Logan as well.
Oh, you're gonna go with that one?
I
Wow.
love Deadstream.
Wow.
Deborah Logan, though, is more
Wow.
go-to, more my style, just creepy as
Wow.
hell. Old lady
Wow.
over, I don't know.
That was a twist.
Yeah. I'm doing it. It's one of the best out there, man.
I was gonna pick Deathstream. I was
Okay.
gonna
All right.
No way.
I was gonna pick that one because
No.
the more we talked about it, I'm like, I remember him doing like the Marv scream from Home Alone
Oh, totally.
several times throughout the movie, and that
It's
always
so
got
funny.
me.
It's
It's
so,
so
funny.
funny.
That always got me, and then I'm remembering like with the chat log that's coming up, and someone's in the chat saying, "Just die already." And
Yeah. See, I
And I'm
love
like-
it. It's so great too because
It
they're like
is.
YouTube chat.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
that
it is.
Chad
The
gets the
live
axe.
stream.
There was the guy that was like obsessed with feet up in the chat like the whole time, and
yeah,
it was funny. That's a cool new dynamic. You almost have to watch the movie twice so you can
I'll
watch
watch that one. I
the
still
chat
haven't seen it
history
yet.
the whole time.
yeah. Like I mean, you're watching it because you're thinking, okay, it's something's going to turn around. Something
Yeah.
has to turn around, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then it's just great.
Yeah,
It's just great.
and like
I'm gonna
literally
rewatch it.
like I still need to watch Chad Gets the Axe, but like Deadstream, I laughed. I laughed almost where I cried, and I was scared to shit a couple times too. Where I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, dude!" Like I jumped like 3 or 4 times.
I need to rewatch
So
ASAP.
good.
I've only seen it the one time, and I really need to rewatch it again ASAP.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
same
it's-
here.
yeah.
I watched it once. I've seen it. I thought it's over the summer again.
Mhm.
But it might have been another horror comedy.
Yeah.
But it just the thing is like he's putting the cameras in the hallway, and he's
Yeah.
like screaming every time something moves or every time
Yeah.
something happens. And then the girl shows up. Oh, I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan. And just the buildup was just really well done.
yeah.
I
But then
agree.
again, Deborah Logan, the buildup,
Oh.
you're led to believe one thing, and
Dude.
then that twist.
Mhm.
Dude, such
Mhm.
big twist and such like the shit that starts happening to her. and
Yeah.
my God, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like, I would not want to be her daughter taking care of her. Oh my God,
Yeah.
tough.
man.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this: Deborah Logan, the writers should be writing for M. Night. That's how you do a
Yeah.
twist.
Seriously, yeah,
Mhm.
That's how you do a twist.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man. I did not see it coming. It's just right when it started. That
I mean, I think
So-
maybe we saw it coming because we know it's a found footage horror movie, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
well, we knew something bad was going to happen.
I
or
think the whole
something
time I was watching, I
obscene.
was like, she's gonna end up being possessed. She doesn't have Alzheimer's, but like, it is it's a cool way to start it and have it end that way.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
So
But well, I mean, with found footage, you could have a survivor, or you can have nobody survives, which is
Mhm.
the current thing is that there are no survivors, and that's why it's found footage.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
and there are plenty more that you could recommend, but your winner for the found footage bracket is
Mm-hmm.
the Taking of Deborah Logan.
I think it's a good winner. I think
It is.
it's
Oh,
it's
so close.
It might be the one I would choose anyways if you came to me and was like, what's the best, what do you think is the best found footage horror movie? It would maybe be my choice. I'd have to think a little bit about that.
Especially currently,
Yeah.
especially, but like my top 5 would have As Above, So Below, and Deadstream in it, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
and God,
Mhm.
Deep House, but Leslie, I mean, but they're all so good. But I think
They're good.
the last 3 we had would probably be in my tops.
I mean,
Yeah.
none of the Blair Witches made it in there, and I was surprised that there's so many of those.
Yeah.
4 of those, 3 or 4 of those right now.
There's 3.
3.
Yeah.
None of the VHSs made it in there.
Yeah.
So there's several other movies that
none of the paranormals. I mean, there's
No.
like 7 of those.
they were all on the list. They're all on the wheel. And they
Really?
made
And
it.
like those are like the classics, like
Those are
the
the
Blair Witch
classics.
Project and Paranormal Activity.
I
Those
do
2
love-
are like the ones that
I do love paranormal. Activity.
start the freaking found footage
love it.
genre.
Yeah.
So I love those movies too. They're one
mean,
of my favorites. They're my
Cloverfield-
tops.
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield didn't make it.
Oh,
Wasn't in there.
Cloverfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did put Skinamarink in there, but nobody
Oof.
really wants to watch that.
No, that one was a dud for me.
I still haven't seen that.
I know it was all the don't watch it. It's a waste.
really?
It's a total waste of time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yeah. And then I recently watched Found Footage 3D. That was fun too.
I actually recently
haven't
watched
seen
that
that.
as well. It was
Found footage 3D.
I might
Yeah.
only made it halfway through. It was pretty entertaining though. It was
It's
pretty
entertaining. Once you get toward the ending of it, that's when things really start to build up.
Okay.
Uh,
Don't think I finished it, so we're at the.
I want to see that.
I'll
I haven't
have to
seen that
watch
yet.
the
I've
whole
I've
thing. Yeah.
I've heard of it.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It came
Yeah.
in a horror pack recently. That's why I got it. I'm like, oh, it's on Shudder. If
Mm.
I don't like it, I can sell the movie brand new. If
Yeah.
I do like it, I have the physical just in
Mm.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Just in
Did
case.
Did you
That's
have
nice.
Quarantine in there?
Wreck was in
Wreck.
here.
Wreck was. Oh yeah, Wreck.
Wreck was
Although
in
I
there.
think I do like Quarantine a little better than Wreck, but
they're
that's
both
just
they're both similar. I mean, they're both
they
the
are. I
same.
mean, it's the same. It's a
Same
retold
movie.
story. It's just
Yeah.
a remade movie.
Yeah,
but
Wreck
yeah.
was in here. Quarantine 2 was in here because again,
Mm.
I was running out of. I wanted to cap it at a certain number,
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
but
No.
so many were in here. So many got left out.
I love it, man. You had all the good ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the last Exorcism was in here. The one
Yeah,
with the
oh,
fire
that's
bait,
good.
the
That's a
demon
good
baby at the end. I mean, so many were in here
Mhm.
that didn't get picked, and it's like, well,
I think we ended up with a good one though. We ended up with a good
I
one.
think-
Yeah.
I think we did
I-
too. I think we did too.
I mean, that's
So-
the one, like you said. That's like when someone, what's the serious found footage movie? I'm like, Deborah Logan's the first one I think of, and I think of more.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah,
I'm not gonna. I tell people Grave Encounters when they say what's a good found footage or what's a good horror movie. Grave Encounters.
It's a good
If
go
you want
to.
psychological, Deborah Logan.
yeah,
I did give them different different
Yeah.
titles because
totally. Grave Encounters is like your very definition.
I like the
Absolutely.
Grave Encounters does the whole time thing too, and I love it. And the second one's good too.
Yeah.
Just as good
Yeah.
as the first one.
That's in
I
my
think.
tops as well. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah, it really is.
mhm.
So to kind of steal a playbook from your show, what did y'all watch? recently.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
actually just talked
What
about it
did
because we
you watch?
recorded yesterday. Or
Yeah.
no, was it yesterday? No, we recorded Sunday night. That's right.
I watched. We watched Zombie 2.
Well, we watched Lucio Fulci's Zombie, which was, originally titled Zombie 2
Yeah.
in Italy.
Italy, but it's called Zombie in
Yeah,
in
Zombie
the US.
States.
It was good. It was a 1979 release.
Mm-hmm.
Old, had that synthesizer music.
Yes.
Some
Yeah.
good practical effects for sure. There was some bad dubbing because it was Italian,
Yeah,
but
what can you
other
do?
than that, I thought it's a classic. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
he's-
of course I watched Leslie Vernon, and then I watched the Deep House as well because I'd seen everything else besides those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I said I just watched all the Hell House movies, but also I just watched In a Violent Nature.
I did
And
too.
I
just
saw
watched it.
you post that.
Nice.
And I loved it. What'd you think?
I thought it was the best Jason movie
Mm,
in the last 15 years.
yeah. Yeah.
That's, I mean, the only way I could really sum this movie up is like they had that Friday the 13th game. Like, oh geez, that's been 10 years.
I remember that one. I never played it, but I do remember it.
This feels like you're playing it because you
yeah.
don't hear people talking. You don't know what the plans are. It's just you're the bad guy.
Yeah, you're just killing people. right?
And the visuals that they shot for this movie that are panning, I mean, it's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a unique and brilliant idea, and I
need to see it still.
wish I would have thought of it first because it's awesome.
And the kills are violent as hell.
Yeah, and at first you don't know because you don't even see like the first couple kills, and you're like, oh, are they gonna cheap out on the kills? And then the first one you see, you're like, holy fuck!
Like, nope.
Wow.
The wood splitter scene, the wood splitter.
Holy
that
crap! Well, what makes it so brutal, and other movies have done this, is there's no soundtrack whatsoever.
No.
And so when people are getting killed, you're just hearing them getting killed, and that's it.
Well, what helps is that when the victims are running away, their voices disappear, so you can't hear them.
Yeah.
So you're taking on the eyes and the ears of the killer the entire time. And there's one scene that I love because it's brilliant. And this is kind of like one of the reasons why I like the movie It Follows, because
I love
it's
It
set,
I love It Follows.
and you see things coming from the background. But this one is there's girls playing on a lake. They're playing on this dock, and the killer's standing on the edge of the lake, and he just walks into the water. He disappears, and you can see the trail of bubbles of where he's going, depending on high definition your TV is.
Yeah.
And he gets to the one lonely girl that's there, and that's it. He takes her out.
Yeah.
She disappears.
Dude.
She's like, ow! Like the water and the scream. And,
And then the camera changes and he walks out of the water.
Yeah.
So, but it's just the visuals and the details are just great.
Yeah.
Original. It's original in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's super original.
But it is a Jason movie.
Yeah, so it's I mean, it's like an unofficial Jason movie.
It's an unofficial movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they stole his mom's jewelry. He just wants it back because it's what reminds him of his mom.
And the whole mute thing, not talking. He's like this outworldly man that's
at a
coming
campsite.
up from the grave.
At a campsite.
I did think that the ending was a little weird, where they're just talking in the car, then it like ends. There was really no reason to have them talking in the car, I guess, except to build suspense that possibly he was going to come back. But I don't want to give anything away. But no, it was
it's fine.
Past that, it was cool. Then it showed like
I hear nothing.
I was just saying it, and then past that, it resolved it. It showed that like he, sort of the necklace was gone and like it's sort of over. But is
it over?
I don't know.
Is it over? Because I mean, you get the story and the build up from them talking around the killer, because basically you're taking the POV from the killer, but they did it smart with them talking around the killer by hearing various points, hearing newspapers or radios talk, hearing people yell at each other. So you hear the setup and synopsis from other people around him, which is done smart.
And then there's like 2 or 3 times where it does shift onto the group themselves, but not very often. Not very often. So I liked it. I thought it was very unique and awesome.
Hell yeah.
That was very good. Yeah, as well.
I think that's all I really watched notably in the last.
We watched Name the Demon at the
film fest.
We watched our own film.
Yeah, our own film that's coming out on October 4th. If anyone,
go ahead and plug it. Go ahead and plug it. When's it coming out?
Name the Demon.
How can they watch it?
It comes out on October 4th. I mean, Amazon is going to be the easiest place to find it, but it'll be on like Google Play and iTunes and
YouTube.
YouTube, all VOD channels. But it's I hope, I can't wait to see what people think. I actually was unsure of how awesome, like great it was, because I'm always very critical of our own work. But now that some people have been seeing it, we've been getting like just all this tons of positive feedback, and up to I mean, the guy is showing at SuperCon next week, and the guys that put on and run SuperCon were like, this is the next Hell House LLC. They're like, this is fucking amazing. I was like,
okay, that's what you want. That's what you want.
It's like, okay, maybe this is sort of good.
Like, I hope you're not just stroking my
and we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. So I can't wait to see what everyone thinks. It is it is sort of unique. The story's not. We just set out to make a found footage possession movie. That's all we wanted to do.
Yeah,
and
really scary.
And we did, but the sort of unique thing about it is that it's filmed as all one single shot, and so there's no. I mean, we hid cuts in it because we shot it over 7 days. But as a viewer watching it, the camera never cuts. the camera set down here and there, picked up here and there.
Mhm.
It's
One continuous shot.
just one continuous shot. The whole
It
movie
portrays
is.
that way when you're
So,
watching it in your mind and when you're seeing it, of course. So
Yeah,
it's-
so-
that's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
there's that one movie that has Elizabeth Olsen where it's the one shot movie
Is it?
with the haunted house. That came out. Oh, geez, this was before Avengers.
I've probably
um,
seen it then.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. It
So-
was.
Not Madhouse, something house. But it had Elizabeth Olsen in it before she blew up because of Avengers and Captain America and all those Marvel movies.
Are you looking it up, Scotty?
I was going to.
I'm going to.
Oh yeah.
Just while you're saying it.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, yeah.
What's it? Oh, you're talking about that war movie that was shot. in
No,
one
the
shot.
war
No.
movie is one.
No,
I
Silent
was
House.
joking.
Silent House.
House.
That's it.
Silent House. Oh
Have
yeah.
you seen Silent House?
I saw it. I forgot
Had
it.
to have.
And then I
Had
watched
to.
it again to try to remember what happens.
Okay.
It's different. Not a great movie.
Okay.
So if that's your only competition for a one-shot horror film, it's got to be better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
I
talking
don't-
about
I-
1970.
if I did
Yeah.
see this, then I forgot about it. I'm reading the little synopsis here, but yeah, I don't know if I saw this one. Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
Again, if it's your only competition for a one-shot horror movie,
we'll see.
it's got to be better than that.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I do that all
maybe
the
I'll watch
time,
it
though.
and see how it is.
Like what you just described, I do it all the time where I don't think I've seen this movie. Then I start watching it and halfway through I'm like, I've definitely seen this movie.
Silent House. You said. It's called the Silent House.
Silent House, yes.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how it was with the last 3 VHS movies.
Really?
I'm like, which one haven't I not seen? And I went through watching all of them. Wait a minute. I remember the Rat Monster, so I've seen that one.
Mhm.
I remember this one, so I've seen that one. Wait a minute, I have seen them all. Crap, I just forgot about
Yeah.
all of them.
Shit. Let me rewatch this. I haven't seen it. Like, oh no,
I
I've
have-
seen this.
I have a hard time recalling all of them, especially anthologies like that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So-
man. And you watch so many too. It's like, that's what
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
But,
You know,
yes.
we watch so many, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh wait, I've seen this. That's what's great about it.
That's
That's what's fun about it. You
Yeah.
can rewatch it and you catch more again the second time you see it.
That is very
no.
true.
Well,
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on. Plug your show. Where can people find you at?
yeah. Well,
All that information.
we have a podcast called The Cult Classic Horror Show. You can find us everywhere at Cult Classic Horror or even at cultclassichorror.com. We, Scotty and I are both on as actors. We're on IMDb. You can just look up our names and you can
Yeah.
see some of the projects we've been
Yeah.
doing.
At Scotty Bohnen, at Danny Bohnen on the social medias.
Aaron mentioned our band at Poolside at the Flamingo. Everywhere you can just look up, just Google Poolside at the Flamingo, then we'll pop up. And,
Yep.
we released an EP not too long ago and did a short tour, and now we're sort of hunkered down. And I've been trying to write a whole new full length album. That look for that to come out next year. It's gonna take a little while.
Yeah.
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, guys.
But thanks
you,
for
man.
having us
This
on,
was
man.
so much
Well,
fun.
well,
Thanks for
before we
having
go-
us, brother.
Before we go, one last question: if you could recommend a horror movie to people out there for this Halloween season, what do you both recommend? You could pick one movie to recommend.
Like together, we have to pick one, or we
No,
each get
separately.
to pick one.
Each
Oh,
get to
okay.
pick one. Each get to
Okay.
pick one.
Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, just can it be can it be just a classic, or does that have to
And
be a new one?
it could be in theaters. It could be on video. It could be streaming. It could be anything
Okay.
besides your movies. It
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
anything.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Besides Name of the Demon. Yeah.
Besides any of the
I mean, we already mentioned it. If you're living under a rock and you haven't seen Evil Dead 2013,
Yeah.
that's in recent memory. It's just the best movie that has come out in a very, very long time. It's so.
I was
fucking
going to
good.
say that one, but you know what? I'm going to recommend the one we just voted for. If you haven't seen The Taking of Deborah Logan, go watch that one.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
really scary. Just go into it with an open mind, and it's freaking. It'll make you leave the light on at night when you go to bed for sure.
True.
So go watch The Taking of Deborah Logan too.
That's
That's
it.
my recommendation.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for joining me on this journey of picking the best found footage movie this year.
Yes, of course.
I hope to have y'all again next year to put your insight in for the
Always
next
happy.
brackets.
Always happy.
We'll see what happens with the theme for next year. Until then, everybody listening, if you made this far, thank you. Just remember, always unfriend, don't unfollow, or other way around. Always unfollow, don't unfriend. Social media, don't let that run your life.
Yes.
So all of that. But again, check us out. We are on Cross the Streams Media. Plenty of other shows on there. We have merch. Find us on YouTube. You'll find links to the shirts and everything else that we sell. So until next time, this is Aaron with Front Row Negative. Blood Brothers, again, thank you for coming on. It was a lot of fun. And until next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you need food, don't eat at Poncho's. Fuck that place.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, check out crossthestreamsmedia.com to hear more episodes of this podcast and the other shows on the Cross the Streams network. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your favorite shows. Visit crossthestreamsmedia.com for more information. See you next time.
This has been a Cross the Streams Media Podcast.